There is a circuit in your brain actively sabotaging your success. Evolution put it there 200,000 years ago. And right now, at this exact moment, while you are listening to these words, that circuit is running a program designed to keep you exactly where you are. Not because you lack ambition, not because you're lazy, but because your biological machinery was never designed for the world you are trying to survive in. Let me be brutally clear about something. Every single time you have set a goal and failed to reach it, every time you have felt that invisible hand pulling you back into old patterns, every time you have sabotaged yourself right at the edge of a breakthrough, you were not experiencing a personal failure. You were experiencing a design feature. Your brain does not want you to fail because it hates you. Your brain wants you to fail because it thinks it is saving your life. This is not a metaphor. This is not motivation. This is neurobiology. The human brain is the most sophisticated prediction machine on the planet. 3 pounds of biological tissue running on 20 watts of power, capable of processing 11 million bits of information per second. But here is the problem. 99.9% of the time your ancestors spent on this planet, success meant something very different than what it means today. Success meant finding food before you starved. Success meant avoiding predators before they ate you. Success meant staying with the tribe because exile meant death. Your brain became exceptional at one thing above all else, keeping you alive today so you could maybe survive tomorrow. And it learned something critical. The biggest threats to survival were not the things you did wrong. The biggest threats were the things you did differently. Innovation got you killed. Standing out got you killed. Taking risks got you killed. So your brain built a sophisticated system to punish deviation and reward conformity. It built a circuit that screams danger every single time you try to change. And that circuit is still running right now in your head, treating your attempt to build a business like you are trying to fight a lion, treating your effort to change careers like you are about to get exiled from the tribe, treating your goal to transform yourself like you are gambling with your survival. This is why you feel anxiety when you're on the edge of success. This is why you procrastinate right before the breakthrough. This is why you retreat into old comfortable patterns right when you should be pushing forward. Your brain is not broken. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is protecting you from the dangers of standing out. Except there is no lion, there is no exile, there is only you, trapped inside a biological machine that cannot tell the difference between giving a presentation at work and being hunted by a predator. The circuit I am talking about has a name in neuroscience. It is called the threat detection system, and it operates on a simple principle. False negatives will kill you. False positives will just waste your energy. Let me translate that. If your brain sees danger and there is no danger, you wasted some adrenaline. You felt anxious for no reason. No big deal. But if your brain misses real danger, you die. So your brain evolved to be paranoid. It evolved to see threats everywhere. It evolved to stop you from doing anything that might, possibly, in some distant scenario, get you killed. And here is where it gets worse. Your brain does not just see threats in the external world, it sees threats in change itself. Because change, by definition, is unpredictable. And unpredictable meant dangerous. So your brain built a neurochemical punishment system for deviation. When you try to do something new, when you push outside your comfort zone, your brain floods your system with cortisol, stress toxicity, not because you are actually in danger, but because you are behaving unpredictably. And unpredictable behavior, for 200,000 years, got people killed. Meanwhile, when you retreat back into old patterns, when you give up on the goal, when you self-sabotage back into familiarity, your brain rewards you. It releases a little hit of relief, a little surge of safety, because familiar equals safe. Even if familiar is slowly destroying your life, your brain does not care about your happiness. Your brain does not care about your potential. Your brain cares about keeping the organism alive until tomorrow. And the best way to stay alive, according to 200,000 years of evolutionary programming, is to do exactly what you did yesterday. This is the biological trap. You are trying to build a future using a brain designed to protect the past. Now let me show you exactly how this sabotage works at the neurochemical level, because once you understand the machinery, you can start to hack it. The CEO of your brain is the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain that sets goals, makes plans, imagines the future. This is the part that wants to build the business, write the book, transform your body, create something meaningful. The prefrontal cortex is evolution's newest addition to the human brain. It is powerful. It is sophisticated, but it has one fatal weakness. It runs on glucose and it fatigues easily. Think of it like a battery. When you wake up in the morning, your prefrontal cortex is charged. You have willpower, you have discipline, you have clarity. But every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every moment of focus drains that battery. And by the end of the day, the CEO is exhausted. Meanwhile, deep in your brain, there is another system. The limbic system. This is the ancient machinery, the part of your brain you share with lizards. The limbic system does not get tired. It does not run out of energy. It runs on instinct and emotion and pattern recognition. And it has one job: seek pleasure. Avoid pain. Conserve energy. The limbic system does not care about your 5-year plan. It cares about what feels good right now and what feels bad right now. And change feels bad. Effort feels bad. Uncertainty feels bad. So here is what happens. You wake up in the morning, prefrontal cortex charged, and you set a goal. You are going to work on your project. You are going to eat healthy. You are going to go to the gym. And for a few hours, maybe, the CEO is in control. But then the battery starts draining. Decisions pile up. Stress accumulates. And slowly, quietly, the limbic system takes over. It whispers, "You are tired. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. Just this once will not hurt." And because the limbic system does not get tired, because it is always there, always running, it wins. Not because you are weak, but because you are running out of fuel. This is why most people fail at behavior change in the evening. This is why you can have perfect discipline in the morning and completely collapse by 8 p.m. This is not a character flaw. This is energy management. Your prefrontal cortex ran out of battery and the ancient machinery took over. But here is the part that really matters. The limbic system does not just take over when you are tired. It actively sabotages you when you are trying to succeed. Because success requires sustained effort. Success requires tolerating discomfort. Success requires doing things that do not feel good right now for a payoff that might come months or years later. In the limbic system, the ancient machinery cannot comprehend delayed gratification. It cannot process long-term thinking. It can only ask one question: is this pleasurable or painful right now? So when you are working on something difficult, when you are pushing through resistance, when you are right on the edge of a breakthrough, your limbic system interprets that discomfort as danger. And it does what it was designed to do. It tries to save you. It triggers anxiety. It triggers doubt. It triggers that voice in your head that says, "You are not good enough. This will not work. You should just quit while you are ahead." And if you listen to that voice, if you retreat back into comfort, the anxiety disappears. Your brain rewards you with relief. And the pattern gets reinforced. Discomfort equals danger. Retreat equals safety. This is the loop. This is the circuit. And this is why your brain wants you to fail. Let me pause here for a second and ask you a question that maybe no one has ever asked you. What is the worst part of living with this internal struggle? Not what you tell people, but the part you carry in silence. I want you to know something. What you are feeling is more common than you imagine. Thousands of people are watching this video right now carrying exactly the same weight. If you have the courage, leave a comment telling me what is the hardest part for you. Your honesty might make someone else feel less alone today. Now let me continue showing you how to break this pattern. The traditional advice for overcoming self-sabotage is useless. People tell you to be more disciplined, to have more willpower, to just push through. But discipline and willpower are prefrontal cortex functions. They run on a battery that drains every single day. You cannot win a fight against your own biology using willpower alone. It is like trying to sprint a marathon. You might make it a few miles, but eventually the biology wins. So if willpower is not the answer, what is? The answer is engineering, not motivation. Engineering. You cannot change your brain by wanting it to be different. But you can change your brain by changing your environment, your behaviors, and your neurochemical patterns in ways that make success the path of least resistance. You have to stop fighting your biology and start using it. This is what I call friction engineering, and it works because of a simple neurological principle. Your brain always takes the path of least resistance. Always. If the easy choice is the destructive choice, you will make the destructive choice. If the easy choice is the productive choice, you will make the productive choice. The content of the choice does not matter. The friction does. Here is the protocol. First, you need to understand that your brain operates on two types of friction: activation friction and maintenance friction. Activation friction is the energy required to start a behavior. Maintenance friction is the energy required to continue a behavior. Right now, your destructive patterns have low activation friction and low maintenance friction. Scrolling social media takes one tap. Eating junk food takes one decision. Procrastinating takes zero effort. Meanwhile, your productive patterns have high activation friction and high maintenance friction. Starting the project requires overcoming anxiety and inertia. Maintaining the project requires constant effort and discomfort. So the engineering task is simple. Increase the activation friction for destructive patterns. Decrease the activation friction for productive patterns. Make the good choice easier than the bad choice. Not a little easier, radically easier. Let me give you concrete examples. If you are trying to stop wasting time on your phone, do not rely on discipline. Delete the apps. Not just log out, delete them. Make it so that using the phone requires 15 steps instead of one step. Install website blockers. Put your phone in another room. Engineer friction. If you are trying to eat healthier, do not rely on willpower at the grocery store. Do not buy junk food. Do not bring it into your house. Make it so that eating junk requires getting dressed, getting in your car, driving to the store. Engineer friction. If you are trying to work on your project, do not rely on motivation. Set up your workspace the night before. Eliminate decisions. Make it so that when you sit down in the morning, the only thing you have to do is start. Engineer momentum. This is not about discipline. This is about designing your environment so that your biology works for you instead of against you. Second, you need to hack your dopamine system. And to do that, you need to understand how dopamine actually works, because almost everything you have been told about dopamine is wrong. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. Your brain releases dopamine not when you get the reward, but when you anticipate getting the reward. This is why scrolling social media is so addictive. Every scroll is a tiny hit of anticipation. Maybe this post will be interesting. Maybe this notification will be important. Your brain is constantly releasing dopamine in anticipation of a reward that rarely comes. And that anticipation feels good. It feels like progress. But it is a lie. You are burning dopamine on empty anticipation. Meanwhile, real productive work, the kind of work that actually moves your life forward, does not trigger dopamine the same way, because real work has delayed rewards. You write for an hour and nothing happens. You work on your project for a week and there is no immediate payoff. Your brain is not releasing dopamine because there is no immediate anticipation, so the work feels flat. It feels unrewarding, and your brain interprets that as a signal that this behavior is not valuable. This is the dopamine trap. Your brain is wired to prioritize activities with immediate uncertain rewards over activities with delayed certain rewards. And modern technology has exploited this vulnerability so effectively that most people are living in a state of chronic dopamine dysregulation. Their baseline is so elevated from constant stimulation that normal productive work feels like deprivation. So here's the protocol. You need to reset your dopamine baseline. And the way you do that is through what I call a dopamine fast. Not the trendy Silicon Valley version where people pretend to meditate for a weekend. A real protocol. For 1 week, you eliminate all high dopamine activities. No social media, no video games, no junk food, no porn, no mindless entertainment. You force your brain to recalibrate to boredom, and it will be uncomfortable. Your brain will scream for stimulation. It will tell you that you are wasting time, that you are missing out, that you need to check just one thing. That discomfort is the withdrawal. That is your brain recalibrating. And here is what happens. After about 72 hours, your baseline starts to drop. Normal activities start to feel rewarding again. A conversation feels interesting. A walk feels pleasant. Your work starts to trigger dopamine again because your brain is no longer comparing it to the super stimulus of infinite scroll. You have reset the system, but the fast is just the reset. To maintain the new baseline, you need to engineer your dopamine architecture. This means you need to build in small, immediate rewards for productive behavior, not big rewards, small ones. After you finish a focused work session, you take a 5-minute walk. After you complete a difficult task, you make a good cup of coffee. You are training your brain to associate productive work with dopamine release. You are rewiring the hardware. Third, you need to understand the asymmetry of pain and pleasure in your brain, and this is where most people get stuck. Because the human brain evolved with a negativity bias that is so extreme, it borders on paranoia. Your brain is wired to remember negative experiences more vividly than positive experiences. It is wired to focus on what went wrong instead of what went right. And there is a good evolutionary reason for this. If you remember where the lion attacked you, you avoid that area and stay alive. If you remember where you found berries, that is nice, but not critical. So your brain evolved to overweight negative information. This is why one piece of criticism can destroy a day of compliments. This is why one failure can erase a month of progress. This is why you remember every mistake you made, but forget every success you achieved. Your brain is not giving you an accurate picture of reality. It is giving you a survival-focused picture of reality. And in the modern world, that survival focus is killing your motivation. The protocol here is simple, but requires discipline. You need to manually rebalance your brain's ledger. Every single day, you write down 3 things that went well, not big things, small things. You had a good conversation. You made progress on a project. You resisted a temptation. This feels trivial. It feels like gratitude journaling nonsense. But what you are actually doing is forcing your prefrontal cortex to search for positive information. And when you do that consistently, you start to rewire the pattern recognition system. Your brain starts to notice what is working instead of only what is failing. You are not being delusional. You are correcting for the negativity bias. Fourth, you need to address the energy problem because everything I have described so far requires energy. Friction engineering requires energy. Dopamine regulation requires energy. Cognitive rebalancing requires energy. And if you are running on empty, none of it works. Most people are trying to change their lives while operating in a state of chronic energy depletion. They are not sleeping enough. They are eating garbage. They are not moving their bodies. And then they wonder why they do not have the willpower to resist temptation or the focus to do difficult work. Here is the biological reality. Your prefrontal cortex runs on glucose. Your neurons communicate using neurotransmitters that are built from amino acids. Your stress regulation system depends on adequate sleep. You cannot hack your brain if you are not feeding it and resting it properly. This is not optional. This is infrastructure. The protocol: 8 hours of sleep, non-negotiable. If you are not sleeping, nothing else works. Your prefrontal cortex cannot function. Your emotional regulation collapses. Your decision-making degrades. Sleep is the foundation. Second, you eat real food, protein and fat and vegetables, not because of morality, because your brain is made of fat. Your neurotransmitters are made of amino acids. If you are eating processed garbage, you are running your prediction machine on corrupted fuel. Third, you move your body, not for vanity, for neurochemistry. Movement increases BDNF, the protein that supports neuroplasticity. Movement regulates cortisol. Movement improves insulin sensitivity, which affects your ability to use glucose efficiently. You are not exercising to look good. You are exercising to think clearly. Fifth, you need to understand the concept of limbic friction. This is the most advanced part of the protocol. Limbic friction is the deliberate practice of making yourself uncomfortable in controlled doses. And it works because of a neurological principle called opponent process theory. Your brain maintains homeostasis by creating opposing forces. If you flood your system with pleasure, Your brain creates an opposing process of pain to bring you back to baseline. If you flood your system with pain, your brain creates an opposing process of pleasure to bring you back to baseline. This is why drug addicts need more and more of the substance to get the same high. The opponent process keeps getting stronger. This is also why people who regularly expose themselves to controlled discomfort become more resilient. The opponent process creates a rebound effect of calm and clarity. So the protocol is this. Every single day, you do something uncomfortable on purpose. Cold shower, difficult conversation, intense workout, fasting. You are training your brain to tolerate discomfort. And here is what happens. When you voluntarily choose discomfort, when you control the exposure, your prefrontal cortex stays online. You are teaching your brain that discomfort does not equal danger. You are creating a gap between the stimulus and the response, and in that gap, you build agency. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" He was not being masochistic. He was engineering resilience. He was using limbic friction to expand his tolerance for discomfort so that when real adversity came, his brain would not collapse into panic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that the battle is not against the world. The battle is against your own biology's interpretation of the world, and you win that battle not by denying discomfort, but by training yourself to stay functional inside it. Sixth, and this is critical, you need to understand that your brain is not a fixed machine. It is adaptive hardware. This is the principle of neuroplasticity. Every single behavior you repeat strengthens the neural pathway for that behavior. Every single behavior you avoid weakens the neural pathway for that behavior. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on what you do. This means that self-sabotage is not a permanent condition. It is a learned pattern, and learned patterns can be unlearned. But here is the catch. Rewiring takes time. The research suggests it takes somewhere between 66 to 254 days to automate a new behavior depending on complexity, not 21 days. That is a myth. Real neuroplasticity requires sustained repetition over months. And during that time, your brain will resist. It will create discomfort. It will trigger anxiety. It will try to pull you back to the old pattern because the old pattern is efficient. Your brain has already built the highway for the old behavior. The new behavior is a dirt path, and your brain does not want to waste energy building a new highway when the old one works fine. So the protocol is simple but requires patience. You pick one behavior, one, not 10. One, and you repeat it every single day for 90 days minimum. You do not rely on motivation. You do not rely on how you feel. You engineer the environment to make the behavior automatic. You remove friction. You create triggers. You stack the new behavior on top of an existing habit. And you trust the process because the neuroplasticity is happening whether you feel it or not. The highway is being built whether you see it or not. You just have to keep showing up. Seventh, you need to address the identity problem because all the friction engineering and dopamine hacking in the world will not work if you are still operating from an identity that sabotages you. Your brain has a self-concept, a story about who you are, and that story is incredibly powerful because your brain will unconsciously work to make your behavior consistent with your identity. If you believe you are someone who always quits, your brain will find ways to make you quit. If you believe you are someone who is not disciplined, your brain will sabotage your discipline. Not because you are broken, but because your brain is trying to maintain consistency. This is why people who win the lottery often end up broke. Their identity did not change. They still see themselves as poor, so their brain creates behaviors that align with that identity. They spend, they sabotage, they return to baseline. This is also why people who lose weight often gain it back. The weight changed, but the identity did not. They still see themselves as an overweight person, so their brain creates behaviors that align with that identity. The protocol here is not about affirmations or positive thinking. It is about evidence. You need to create small wins that prove to your brain that the new identity is real. You do not become a disciplined person by declaring it. You become a disciplined person by acting discipline in small ways and letting your brain observe the evidence. You show up to one workout. That is evidence. You complete one focused work session. That is evidence. You resist one temptation. That is evidence. And over time, the evidence accumulates. Your brain starts to update the self-concept. The story changes. And when the story changes, the behavior follows. James Clear wrote about this in Atomic Habits. He said, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become." He was right. Your brain is constantly watching what you do and updating the identity model based on the data. So if you want to change who you are, you have to change what you do, not all at once, in small, consistent, evidence-based ways. Now let me tell you something that most people will not tell you. This protocol works, but it is not magic. It is engineering, and engineering takes time. You are not going to rewire 200,000 years of evolutionary programming in a weekend. You are not going to hack your dopamine system with one good week. You are not going to build a new identity with 1 month of effort. Real change, the kind that lasts, requires sustained pressure over months and years. It requires you to stay in the friction long enough for the neuroplasticity to solidify. It requires you to tolerate discomfort long enough for your brain to recalibrate. It requires you to show up even when you do not feel like it, even when the progress is invisible, even when your brain is screaming at you to quit. And here is the paradox. The moment you accept that this is going to be difficult, the moment you stop waiting for it to feel easy, the moment you stop expecting your brain to cooperate, that is when it gets easier. Because you stop fighting reality. You stop resisting the discomfort. You understand that the discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. The discomfort is a sign that the rewiring is happening. Your brain is rebuilding the highway. And construction is never comfortable. Robert Sapolsky, the Stanford neurobiologist, spent his career studying stress and behavior in primates and humans. And one of his most important findings is this: we do not have free will in the way most people think we do. Every behavior you execute is the result of biological processes that were set in motion seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years, and even generations before the behavior occurs. Your genes, your prenatal environment, your childhood experiences, your hormone levels this morning, the conversation you had an hour ago, all of it is shaping what you do right now. But here is what he also says. Just because you do not have free will does not mean you are helpless. It means you need to stop blaming yourself for the initial impulse and start engineering the environment and the biology that creates future impulses. You are not responsible for the brain you were born with, but you are responsible for what you do with it. You cannot control the fact that your limbic system wants instant gratification, but you can control whether junk food is in your house. You cannot control the fact that your prefrontal cortex fatigues by evening, but you can control whether you schedule difficult work in the morning when your battery is charged. You cannot control your evolutionary programming, but you can engineer around it. This is the essence of the protocol. You are not trying to become a different person. You are not trying to transcend your biology. You are trying to understand the machinery well enough to use it effectively. You are trying to stop fighting your brain and start working with it. And when you do that, when you stop moralizing your behavior and start engineering it, everything changes. Your brain wants you to fail because it thinks failure is safety. It thinks staying small is survival. It thinks comfort is protection. And for 200,000 years, it was right. But you are not living in the savannah anymore. You are living in a world where the real danger is not taking the risk. The real danger is staying exactly where you are. The real danger is wasting your potential because you let an outdated biological program run your life. So here is the final piece of the protocol. You need to make a decision. Not an emotional decision, a strategic decision. You need to decide that you are going to treat your brain like the biological machine it is. You are going to stop expecting it to cooperate. You are going to stop blaming yourself when it resists. You are going to engineer your environment. You are going to regulate your dopamine. You are going to build in friction. You are going to create evidence for a new identity. You are going to do the work even when it is uncomfortable because you understand that discomfort is the price of rewiring. And you are going to do this not for a week or a month, but for as long as it takes, because this is not a quick fix. This is a maintenance protocol. This is how you operate a human brain in a world it was not designed for. And if you commit to this, if you actually implement this protocol instead of just consuming it, you will notice something strange. The self-sabotage will not disappear, but it will lose its power. You will feel the impulse to quit, and you will do the work anyway. You will feel the anxiety about change, and you will change anyway. You will hear the voice telling you that you are not good enough, and you will ignore it and keep building, because you will understand that the voice is not truth. It is biology, and biology can be hacked. If you made it this far, I already know something important about you. You do not just want to survive your own mind, you want to master it. This channel is not about magic promises. It is about real people sharing real tools that work in the real world. If this makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel, not because I am asking, but because you deserve a place where you can learn to build the version of yourself you always knew was in there. Biology is destiny until you hack it. One final note. This content is for educational and fictional purposes. The concepts discussed are based on interpretations of neuroscience and philosophy and should not replace professional medical or psychological advice. If you are struggling with mental health, reach out to a qualified professional. Your brain is machinery, but you are not alone in learning how